So we've looked at how surveys can be biased or unbiased depending on how we draw the sample. We are now going to look at when we do have a survey and we have the results, how we can predict based off of that sample what our population might like or do or whatever the survey is asking for. So we actually have experience with this. So when we were in our probability unit, we set up a proportion to predict probability of stuff. So we're going to do the same thing with the surveys and predicting for populations. So at the top of your note sheet, on the back of the Introduction to Statistics page, it says predicting at the top, and then you have the first question is, how do you solve predicting problems? So write this down. You're going to set up a proportion and solve using cross products. Set up a proportion and solve using cross products. Okay, so let's look at the first example. So on the right-hand side, you have a pie chart that has favorite types of books. So when we're looking at a pie chart, it is only in percents, and we are not going to be able to figure out how many people they surveyed in order to get that data. So can you determine how many people were surveyed? Put no. If we do have a amount of people that we want to make a prediction of, we can set up a proportion and we can figure that out. So out of 250 teens, predict how many would choose mystery as their favorite type of book. So I'm going to look at this and figure out that mystery is 37%. So I'm going to put 37%, always goes over 100, is equal to x over 250. Then you are going to cross multiply and divide. So I'm going to do 37 times 250. And then I will divide that answer by 100. And I actually get a decimal. So I can't have a decimal of a person. So I'm going to say about 93 people. Okay, so again, out of 250 teens, let's predict how many would choose adventure as their favorite type of book. So I'm going to look for adventure, which is 25% of the people. So 25 over 100 equals x over 250. Again, I get a decimal, so I'm going to say about 63 people. Now, sometimes that information that we're given from the survey may not be in percent form like that one was. So let's look at this table. We have surveyed people and asked them what their least favorite chore is to do around the house. And so in the table, you can see 7 chose clean the room, 4 garbage, 5 dishes, 3 walking the dog, and 5 vacuuming or dusting. So we are to predict the number of students out of 258 that would say cleaning is their least favorite. So cleaning has 7 people. Now, I have to figure out how many total people they surveyed. So it doesn't tell me that in the word problem, but I can get that by adding up all the number of students. And so that would be 24. So that goes on the bottom. And that equals x over the total people I'm making a prediction out of. Again, I'm going to use cross products, so I'm going to cross multiply. 7 times 250, and then I'm going to divide that by 24. And it's going to be about 76 people. Okay, using that same chart, let's look at, again, a prediction out of 258, but we are looking at students walking their dog. So that would be 3 students out of 24 equals x over 258. Again, I'm going to use cross products, and I'm going to multiply 258 times 3, and then I will divide that by 24. And I get about 33 people. Example 3, so a study shows that 28% of adults play golf in their free time. Out of 1,550 adults, predict how many would say they play golf. So 28%, so that means 28 would go over 100, and that equals x over 1550. You will cross multiply 1,550 times 28. Divide that by 100. And you'll get about 434 people. Second one says predict how many adults out of 1,550 would say they do not play golf. So, of course, you need to make sure that you're reading these questions carefully because they gave us information about those who do, and then you have to figure out how many do not. So I could actually do this a couple different ways. So we just found that 434 do like golf. And we're looking at 1550 total. So I could take that and subtract 434, and I would get that it's going to be about 1,116 people. So that's one way. The other way is to still set up a proportion. I would have to figure out what percent do not play golf. So if 28% do, then if I subtract 28 from 100, that would give me that 72% do not like it. So then that is what I would use in my proportion. So 72 over 100 equals x over 1550. Cross multiply 72 times 1,550, and then divide that by 100. And then we still get about 1,116 people. So you can see either way, I will get the same answer. Okay, and the last one on your note sheet, 1/5 of the students in your school play a musical instrument. How many students would you have to randomly select on average in order to get 9 students who play a musical instrument? So 1 out of 5 do play a musical instrument. They are not giving me a total that I'm having to make a prediction out of. That is what I'm missing. So X is going to be on the bottom this time, and 9 is going to be on top. So they're asking how many students would you have to talk to in order to get 9 if 1/5 of the sample plays an instrument. Okay, I'm still going to solve it the same way. I'm still going to cross multiply and divide. So 5 times 9, and then divide it by 1, so I don't even have to put that in my calculator. So that means we're going to have about 45 students.